going to call this meeting to order. I'm going to make a motion to open the meeting. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made, duly second, a roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to open the meeting.
All right, as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded by Marshfield Community Media. Mike, do you want to kick us off with the town administrator report?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Participated in Plymouth County ARPA update, meeting with Matt Parent and Bill Batigi from our Energy Committee regarding aggregate electric, which will go into effect on March 23. We're going to be doing an event probably first or second week in February so that people know about it, because the opt-out is February 26th. People will have a card, they'll get more information mailed to them, and we'll have stuff up on the website. Meeting with Liz and Danielle to review Liz's upgrade request under the union language. Participated in the MMA's first amended audits. Had discussion with our department heads, employees. The First Amendment audits, as folks know, there were groups of people going around to different town halls. Our staff, our department heads are well-trained. They come in, they want to film. It's perfectly all right for them to film. They don't have to ask your permission to film. And really, people answer whatever questions. The more questions you answer, the better for them, and that's what they're looking for. And a number of our town halls adjacent to us have had people show up, and some of their staff didn't want to answer or be filmed, so that can go really bad. So you just, answer the questions, be as polite as possible. They're not rude or anything. They just ask questions. That's what they do. They want to go around and see. So the MMA did do a little training. Our legal folks did a training. We had it at our department head meeting, so our team's, ready for that, and we anticipate that. Participated in the fourth hazard mitigation workshop with staff at the Woods Hole Group. Participated in the Marshfield Housing Partnership meeting to discuss housing coordinator reorganization, and Lynn Fiddler was there as the liaison to that committee. Participated in aggregate electric meeting with the Good Energy to discuss the potential rollout. Participated in the bi-weekly DPW construction meeting at the DPW. Participated in the dog park construction meeting. We were actually out on the site. They're building the berm, Biagini Construction, so it looks great. See, I don't know if you had a chance to go down and check it out, but we were there and people were already walking their dogs.
Perfect.
I think they were walking their dogs there anyways prior, but
Yes.
they were there, yeah. Participated in a phone call with Scott Dixon regarding Brant Rock project. I need to follow up with him. Set up a meeting with Kevin Power regarding an issue with the Historic Commission on the Amelia property, which is located on Ocean Street. Town council was involved, and we're trying to get both sides together. Meeting with Lynn Fiddler and a constituent regarding the aquaculture in Green Harbor. Participated in a weekly meeting with Lisa Clark, treasurer, to review budget issues, munis and banking, etc. Meeting with Matt Parent and Bill Batigi regarding a pamphlet, and public meeting at the senior center regarding the rollout of our aggregate electric. Monthly department head meeting at the Maritime Center. Meeting with Carol Hamilton regarding some requests for the senior center regarding Seaflower Cafe and other budget issues. Meeting with Fred Russell, our facility head, to review ongoing maintenance issues for general government and schools. We also reviewed status of capital projects and also reviewed the town hall project. And we talked about a project, as folks know, a few years ago, we replaced the kitchen at the main firehouse, and the bathrooms are just basically about to fall through. So Fred's going to be putting together a plan on replacing the bathrooms and the showers in the central fire station. I had a breakfast meeting with Chamber of Commerce at the Marshfield Senior Center last week. Another meeting with the Chamber that afternoon with Northeastern, with Jeff Granatino and a number of other town officials. And we talked about coastal hazard assessment training and economic opportunities. Participated in the MMA conference in Boston on Friday and Saturday with Lynn and other departments. Working on Beverly Wiedeman's retirement party, which will take place this Thursday, the 26th. Worked on a number of public records requests. Working on two citizens' issues. One dealing with I can't even read my writing. One dealing with nitrogen loading issue. Participating in a weekly call at the WATD. Working with Maya, our insurance group, regarding updates on our building values, and working on renewal of our cybersecurity. And that is my town administrator report.
Great, thank you, Bob. Going to the clinic.
Yep, just very quickly, to date, 4,783 shots, 3,895 COVID shots, 888 flu shots, And we're doing about 60 people per week. And, COVID, it was rising, and we had a slight decrease this week in Marshfield, which is good, so.
Good.
And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Any questions or comments, Jim?
No, Joe.
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
Just the MMA conference was a terrific experience for myself, and I appreciate Michael and the staff going as well to that. And I look forward to it next year. It was nice to see how we fit into the broader scheme of Massachusetts and hear some of the important speeches and all of that. So I was glad to go and just wanted to make a quick comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. All right, then just very quickly, I'll take action item number 9 out of order, which is a donation for $300 to our Veteran Services account. Did you want to add anything else, Karen? All right, perfect. Any questions or comments, Jim?
I do not.
Any questions or comments, Lynn? All right, I'll make a motion to accept the donation on behalf of the Marshfield Veteran Services in the amount of $300 from Aidan Roberge. The donation will be used to assist in our veterans and their families in time of need through the gift account. Is there a second?
Second.
All's in favor?
A motion been made and duly second. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler? Unanimous vote by the board to accept the donation.
All right, awesome. All right, so our first appointment is with Joe Rossi. So, Joe, if you want to come up, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for having me tonight. This is the annual review of the annual PPI and hazard mitigation annual update. I have copies for me. If you need copies, I can hand them over to you and pass them around. I've got these pretty much memorized. But I want to just call attention to the last page of the 2022 of the PPI update. This was a very busy year for the committee. We have our 5-year annual review coming up next year, which basically means that we go through a full audit by FEMA for everything regarding our floodplain. Passing the audit is the only way that we continue in the CRS program. Up to that point, we do an annual review with FEMA, but they don't check things nearly as in-depth as they will in the 5-year review. It's also a perfect time to increase our class. So we're currently a Class 7 receiving a 15% discount on all NFIP policies in town. Going to a Class 6 will move that discount to 20%. We have the most, second most number of points now in the state of Massachusetts. And we are eligible as one of the few communities in the state to move to a Class 6, and that's due to the work of our building department going through an audit for different things, but also related to CRS. So I can take any questions. I will also note that this annual review of the 2018 hazard mitigation plan is a kind of living document. We update it once a quarter. This document, however, will be replaced with the new hazard mitigation plan, which will go in effect in April of this year. We are in the middle of planning that and building that document, of course, with the town and the CRS committee. That document will include CRS points like the original hazard mitigation plan did. We're trying to build even more points into the plan. So we hope sometime in April, when the plan becomes available, we'll be able to highlight all the good CRS things that we were able to pack into the new hazard mitigation plan. I didn't even talk about what I meant to point out in the annual review for the PPI annual review. There are several suggested changes that we're going to be implementing this year. The most important, I think, and you'll notice that in our PPI plan, one of the ways we're getting credits is monitoring the purchase of flood insurance throughout the town of Marshfield. No surprise to anyone who looks at the news, the National Flood Insurance Program has seen a decrease of 175,000 policies nationally over the last year. That can be seen in our decrease in town as well. We've seen a steady decrease in the last 5 years or so. But that is not to say we're losing flood insurance policies. We're losing NFIP flood insurance policies. through the hazard mitigation plan planning process, we did a townwide survey, which shows very roughly that there is a significant increase in the purchase of private flood insurance. So one of the big efforts this year will be to survey our local insurance agents to try to get a handle on how many private flood insurance policies they're selling, so that we can be one of the few communities in the country that actually know how many of those policies are being placed in our community, because that information is not publicly available. So we're going to put a lot of effort on that this year, so that in our action items we can put an achieved note next to the increase in flood insurance policies.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Joe.
You're welcome.
With respect to the audits that FEMA does for folks in CRS, how important is it that any new work or construction done, whether it's to a residence or a structure, how important is it, would you say, that it be up to FEMA's standards and FEMA's codes?
So every year, we have, one of the few things we have to show FEMA every year through an annual review, and they just changed this about 2 years ago, is we have to show them that any building permit pulled for a substantial improvement or new construction in town was built in compliance with the NFIP and town and state regulations, and they all layer together. That will be continued focus for them. We also, as a CRS community, we promise to FEMA that we will have a higher standard to which we keep ourselves to as a community. They will look for that as well. So not only did we keep the standards we have to, but we kept the standards we told them we would as well. So that is going to be a major focus of that. One of the other big focuses, surprisingly, is the purchase of open space. That currently gets us our most points for CRS. I will be coming to this board, as I did in 2019, I believe it was, to request letters proving to CRS that we maintain our open space, that we don't build on it. Very simple. But you'll see me here probably more towards the end of the year for those types of requests as we prepare to show FEMA that we've met those standards and, of course, gone above that, because if you're a CRS community, you don't have to prove that. But in Marshfield, we do.
Thank you, Joe. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
We appreciate all the hard work that you do, and there are so many residents who benefit from your work, whether they know it or not. So on behalf of our community, thank you for all the hard work that you do.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Have any questions or comments, Jim?
Yes, Joe, I echo the chair's comments. You guys put in a lot of work. I read that document, every inch of it from front to back. There's a tremendous amount of work that goes into this document and this effort. To be go to a Class 6, right?
Yeah, that's what we're looking to go
to a Class 6. That would make us second in the state, right?
Correct.
Nothing happens in a vacuum. And so when you pull a push on one side, something else happens.
Sure.
A result of this is we're having increased regulation, increased housing costs, which drives tax revenue. I understand, that the town will make more money by increased property values, but it also affects our affordability index, and that's a concern for me as a select board member, is this town affordable, how this town stays affordable?
Sure.
And so, when do we say, that maybe we're pushing this envelope too far?
Sure.
If we're second out of 350-plus municipalities in the state,
Yep.
the Commonwealth. I've had a couple of comments, or more than a couple of comments. I've had comments from citizens and professionals regarding, specifically the floodplain. Those regulations are typically the first in every touch the citizens have, as the chair, I think, pointed out.
Yeah.
Lots of times they don't know the good work that you've done, right?
Yeah.
So,
What's second and what?
We'll circle back and answer your question, but we're second in the entire state with respect to our ranking with
I'm a
CRS.
little hard of hearing, sorry.
Sure, so once we're done, we'll circle back to you and answer your question, but we're second in the
Defining it,
entire
so I'd
state.
like to know what the subject is, if I could. Yeah,
the subject is our first meeting, which is what's the exact title?
The
Joe?
Program for Public Information Annual Review.
The Program of Public Information for Annual Review. It has to do with all our floodplain, mitigations, all the efforts that the town's doing on behalf to make sure the citizens stay safe.
But what are we seconding?
All right, so,
Flood
Yeah,
insurance.
but
I mean,
if I
Right.
may, this is my opportunity here to present my perspective as a select board member on the presentation. So if I may continue, it'd be great. The chair offered that we'll circle back.
I don't want you to circle back. I just want an answer. What are we talking about?
If you-
asked people to come, I came.
if you're
and
not
then
gonna
you say,
respect
"Well,
the
we'll circle
process
back."
and take over the meeting, then you can leave. We're happy to answer your questions, but you're not gonna hijack the meeting.
Why
So we're
can't
gonna
you
keep
just say
moving
what
forward.
we're seconding? I'm interested in the
He
subject.
just answered your question. I'll ask Joe again to clarify, but you're not gonna interrupt people
seconding the
and speak
state. I
over
just wanna
others.
know what we're
Well,
seconding.
if you would stop talking, we can answer your question in about 30 seconds. So sit tight. Joe, could you please contextualize again in what way we're second in the
Sure.
state?
We're second in the state in CRS points. So we would be currently 1,275 points, somewhere in that range. So we only need about 300 points to 400 points in order to bring us into a Class 6.
You just, instead of using the acronym.
Oh, CRS, the Community Rating System. Thank you.
Excuse
I,
me, Joe.
I live in acronyms.
All
I'm
right.
not a
If you,
hearing.
if you have any
Gives me the
questions, you
right
can
to
direct
ask
them
you
through
to
me.
Repeat it so I can hear it. And talking up front, you already told them, please, just tell me what the subject is. The CRP, what is it?
Maybe if you move to the front row, you could hear.
Yeah, you're welcome to move up to the front row if you want to hear better, and we can give you a
Right
written
up front,
response
so you can
too
hear
if you want. If you want to give us your contact info, we'll give you a written response of everything that we said if you're having trouble hearing
I
us.
don't understand the hostility here. I mean,
Sir,
You're-
don't I have rights as somebody who can't hear well?
sir, just come on up to the front so we can hear you. You
Alright.
can hear us and we can hear you.
I can hear you, I can't hear him because he's facing that way.
I understand that. That's why we're working on getting another area for us to meet, so. Just, we're good. We're
5
good.
years ago, I went to hell with the flood insurance people.
Okay, so you'll have an opportunity if you have, let this gentleman speak, and then if you want to share your history or in the chair,
I just want
then
to know,
it's
what
good.
I'm here to learn.
Okay,
you know,
so I just want to make sure
Like a
you
kid in
can
school,
speak.
If I can't hear the
and our-
teacher, I can't learn.
I'm listening, and our chair will
You've got
continue.
valuable information, I just want to pick up on it.
Excellent, I understand. Okay, go ahead.
So,
Jim.
if I may, Mr. Chairman, just recap a bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks. So we're second in state in the CRA rating. And I just briefly to recap, because we kind of lost train of thought here, is, nothing happens in a vacuum. And because we are increasing regulations within the town, these changes that the citizens are required to do will increase housing costs, will require citizens to make changes to their houses. And as I said, I know that increased property values drives increased tax revenue, but it also affects affordability. And what I was stating is that that's an important issue, I think, for the entire select board, is affordability of this town. And, so doing one thing can also affect another. And I think I take my kind of responsibility in this position to look at all things together and how they affect each other. I was saying I've received some comments from some citizens and professionals regarding specifically the floodplain management. I was saying this is the first touch that most of us citizens have. They go in, they pull a floodplain permit,
Yeah.
and they want to say, put a back deck on their house.
Sure.
Family of four, they have saved up money for 4 or 5 years to put this nice little deck on the back of their house. And they are subjected to a lot of increased scrutiny and regulations, and not always when it's substantial.
Sure.
As you stated.
Yeah.
They are being required, in my view, to kind of jump through hoops in a lot of ways, certified plans and different things for what I would consider, when I served as the chairman of the Conservation Commission, a very kind of minor, yes, it's great, enjoy your deck type thing. And so now we make a deck that someone might have saved, family of four, for 3 or 4 years to have in their backyard to enjoy. Now we've made this deck almost prohibitively expensive. And the real net gain to your goal
Yeah.
of what you want to achieve is negligible to almost nothing. So I have a concern about that, and I don't want this effort to lose the support of the citizens.
Sure, sure.
Because it's a very important effort.
Sure.
But if that's the touch they get all the time, and they don't know some of the other cool stuff that you're doing on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
I'm just concerned of that, and I'm also concerned of the significant costs that we're asking our citizens to do in the name of regulation.
Sure.
I believe that the citizens want compassionate regulation. They don't want aggressive, say, absolute regulation. And when we've gotten to the point where we're not second in class, the top 20th percentile, we're second in the state out of 350-plus municipalities, we might just want to step back and look at how we're doing this and how it's affecting the town overall. I do have one other thing, but I'll just end with it. You know, sometimes the enemy of the good is the search for the perfect,
Sure.
especially in regulation enforcement. And then I just have one quick other question, if I may.
Sure.
That was a little more my pontification.
No, that's fine.
I appreciate you listening to me.
No, that's fine.
I did notice mitigation 22.
Sure.
So mitigation 22 is conduct analysis of engineering alternatives to reduce flood or improve drainage in the Esplanade. We have that rated as a low priority.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, everything can't be high priority.
Yeah, yeah.
And I noticed you have a pretty good mix of high and low.
Yeah.
Because if you make everything a high priority, then they never get done either.
Yeah.
So you really, I applaud the fact that you're trying to zero in and focus on what your team feels is right.
Yeah.
But this is a significant business center of our town, and we've got very active citizens that have been looking for at least some type of direction of where the town wants to go towards resolution.
Sure.
And so I'm just saying that maybe during the course of the year, you could look at that.
Sure.
And say, does it really belong as low?
Yeah. You're actually bringing this up at a great time because these priority levels are given when the hazard mitigation plan was created.
Okay.
So we're in the middle of a recreation of the hazard mitigation plan.
Be doing those ratings.
Currently.
Oh, great.
So the fact that you've mentioned this, we've been asking for input through the hazard mitigation plan planning committee. I'm able to suggest changes along with other members of that planning committee. So this is certainly something that I'll bring it to attention to at the next hazard mitigation planning committee meeting. Because having the outreach of the public, which is actually part of the hazard mitigation planning process, letting us know what's important to them is actually a requirement in order to pass the hazard mitigation plan or get it approved by FEMA. So that's good. The one thing I will note is we prioritize them high-low. You know, that comes up in meetings and we try to figure out which ones are the most highest priority. But the fact they're in this plan actually allows them to be federally eligible for funding.
Excellent.
So I like to point attention to that because they're, like you said, that we can't make everything high priority, but the fact that they're in the plan gives them eligibility to, if the federal government had funding through their emergency grant programs, then they are eligible if they're in the plan. So that's why we have them in here in the first place.
Well, fantastic. I mean, I bow to the expertise of you and your team.
Yeah.
I certainly do not pretend to be an expert in this pathway at all.
Sure.
So thanks for letting that know, because we are having a request for multiple millions of dollars of investment in that area of town that could be impacted if some root causes are also not addressed, and or decide whether they are or they are not going to be or should be. And with that, I'll relinquish back to the chair. Thank you very much for the time.
Yep, thank you, Jim. Lynn?
Just briefly, I have a little bit of experience in trying to get a permit, for example.
Sure.
And I understand the importance of making sure that when you get a permit, the product, when you are done, is going to be safe for the people living in it, safe for the community, and not in a situation where flood waters could affect that property and the surrounding community. So I don't necessarily think that regulation is something that needs to be stifled. I think more importantly, we need to be really, really in tune with the rising sea level and how important we are here on the coastline to be on the forefront and make sure that we are prepared for the future in our development to protect the people that are actually building a house, whether they know it or not, is a good point, but they will know it because it's in the regulations. So that's where I stand on it, but I'm definitely learning as we all go. Every month we learn something new when it comes to rising sea levels and the importance of protecting our town and our state and our coastlines. So I appreciate you doing all this. This is very extensive, so I'm sure I will have questions in the weeks, and I'm sure you'd be available for a
Yes,
phone call.
of course.
If that works, but that's it.
Yeah.
So thank you for your time and
You're
for being
welcome.
here tonight.
You're welcome. The points, I will just kind of summarize in saying that there are over 150 to 160 different creditable activities in the CRS manual. There's somewhere around 640 pages to the manual. I'd like to say that I've read them all, but I haven't, thank God, or else you might think there's something wrong with me. But the manual itself gives points to certain activities for a wide range of different issues, whether it be permitting or whether it be open space or whether it be floodplain management. It's actually a requirement that we're doing the hazard mitigation plan. One of the places that we do want to focus points, which I think would move ourselves in a direction that might be more helpful, I guess you could say, is focusing in on how we alert our residents about incoming storms and incoming weather. That will actually be a focus for us in 2023. I'm not sure, I think it's in here where we want to do more outreach and more community events, but really a big focus of ours is to work on what's called the emergency and warning plan, which is a credible activity in CRS. So this will give us a ton of points, somewhere around 300 alone, amongst the other points we're going to get, which will help us move to the next class. So hopefully this year, as we go through the points and look at the points that we really want to attack, there'll be a place where we're being more out there for people to see what we're doing and hopefully putting us really on the map in a very helpful way.
Thank you, Lynn. Joe, I do have one last question for you, and you can answer this in like the big picture aggregate or get as specific as you would like, but what are the benefits and drawbacks for residents of being in CRS? For example, like when FEMA last updated their maps 10 years ago, we had a lot of residents who found themselves in the maps for the first time.
Sure.
And some were facing 5-figure sums for their flood insurance rates, some on a monthly basis. So do you just want to kind of break that down for us?
Yeah, a lot has changed in the decade or more that we've been doing. The mapping and issues have come up and so on and so forth, and a lot has changed. What's happened now in the town is, an individual can get flood insurance through the National Flood Insurance Program, but they can also get flood insurance through private insurers. That has really helped cost, because where the NFIP fails, typically private flood companies such as Lloyd's of London succeed. Because of that, as I mentioned earlier, that's kind of changing our measurement of how we can see flood insurance, so it's skewed a little bit. But the reason I mention that is because CRS provides really two big benefits. It used to be predominantly the discount on flood insurance. You'd go and say, the town is saving, it was like $300,000 when I started, now it's down to like $280,000 because of the NFIP policies dropping off. But really what it gives a benefit to now is keeping our community in compliance with our required federal regulations. There are some regulations that we enforce because we really want to be a better community, but FEMA has made an effort in the last 2 to 3 years to crack down on community noncompliance. I can tell you that Andrew in Marshfield, Andrew Stewart, the building commissioner, and in other communities, the building commissioners and other communities, for the first time ever, have gotten letters specifically citing buildings that are not compliant with federal regulation. How do you address those? These are buildings that go back to the 1980s that FEMA is now saying you either bring these buildings into compliance or you lose the ability to potentially purchase flood insurance at all through the NFIP in these communities. It's a very serious issue. It's the first time they've been doing this, and it's kind of scary because we're being audited for CRS, which is great to help us, but we're only looking back in CRS to 2018 when we came back into the program. FEMA's looking back into whenever we jumped into the NFIP, which was October of '77. So the other benefit is that it keeps the town of Marshfield in compliance with these regulations that we're required to be in compliance in. And then, of course, it's the protection of life and protection of property, purchasing of open space, having a higher regulation for some building requirements, and also alerting. One of the biggest things, in fact, the whole idea of the PPI is the program for public information. We're getting out there to alert people to the hazards they face on a daily basis. So really, it's those three elements that are critical for CRS. I mean, we are a coastal community. So being a CRS community and the fact that we've built a culture around being a CRS community really puts us at the forefront ahead of communities who have never thought about this before. And surprisingly, there are way more of those communities than there are ours.
Can I ask one final question?
Absolutely.
Who's number one? Everybody wants to
In
know
the
who's
country
number
or the
one.
state?
The state.
I was alerted that there is a class 6 in the state, and I don't remember what community that is.
Okay.
But if you ask me who the number one community in the country is, because there's only 2 of them, and while one of them is in California, the most recent is Tulsa, Oklahoma. So believe it or not, they have purchased 90% of their floodplain buildings. It's all open space. They have retention ponds. Every single open space is a retention pond or retention area. I've met the people that have done the CRS program there. There's probably 10 different consultants they bring in to operate that program, but it is a benchmark program. And
That's
we will,
what I was getting at.
yeah, we will never be a class 1 because we're coastal communities just can't. I think the highest coastal class community is Pinellas County at a class 3. But we, by going to a class 6, will be within the top 10 percentile in the nation. So it really moves us into a level that we really should be in because, like I said, as a coastal community, we're not immune to flooding. In fact, it's something that we need to address on a daily basis.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But let me just.
Sorry if I gave
I would've been like,
a little bit of a
who's number
answer to
one?
that. Yeah, you're welcome.
Joe, thanks very much for coming in.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I will just,
Are you gonna circle back and
Need
tell
a-
me what we're number 2 in?
We've answered your question multiple times what that means. So if you don't have it, I can't help you at this point. But we'll send you, if you leave your email or your address, we'll send you a letter. We'll write it up for you and explain it in greater detail. But he's explained it 4 times now. So we're going to move on to our next appointment. Thank
I
you
just
very-
will need a vote to approve both of these
Yeah.
I'll
documents.
ask Kevin. He'd be more cooperative, I think.
Joe, I just want to say again, thank you, your team does great work.
Yeah,
Seems a
thank
lot
you.
more knowledge.
We're second in CRS class. So CRS, the community rating system, we're second in that in the state.
Okay.
Thank you again, everyone.
Yeah, take your
Thanks very
time.
much, Joe.
It's not on there, but do you want me to?
Yeah.
If I may, for the board, just suggest, so what Joe's asking for is an approval of the multi-hazard mitigation plan, annual evaluation, and the PPI plan.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Michael. All right, go ahead and make a motion to approve the multi-hazard mitigation plan as presented by Joe Rossi, as well as the PPI plan. Is there a second?
I would second that.
Motion made and duly seconded, roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve as presented.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, Chief Simpson? Yeah.
Jay, can you let them know? There's a whole bunch of them out
Sorry. No, you're good. No worries.
There's a large group of family that's a company.
Good to show support.
And some, I'll be honest with you, I don't know how many people are out there. You can come up here with me.
Welcome.
Welcome.
You've got a mob coming.
Oh, wow, there's,
We got all ages.
It's good.
Got to mention it's a Catholic family, Jeff.
come right up here. Just sit right here, yeah. Yeah, that's my, I'm used to that. Oh, wow. Man, we've been really traveling. We need a bus lately everywhere we go.
That's the one you have the copy of.
Oh, good, okay. Sorry, I'm sorry for the delay. But thank you very much for having us, Mr. Chairman. Today, I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I think it's fitting that we recognize Captain Patrick Smith of the Marshfield Fire Department. He's been chosen as the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, a national award for public service as a firefighter at the state level. So he is the nominee for the state of Massachusetts. And that nomination is going to the federal level, where it will be decided who will be the national firefighter of the year. And some of the criteria, and this is pretty brief, but I'll give you a heads up. This has been a long process, and I'll introduce a few people to you in a second. The process was long, it was difficult, but he represents the department. He represents a lot of what all these people here do on a regular basis. Some of those things that he has done is he's been recognized by his colleagues. As you can see, he's being recognized right now, just for them to show up tonight in uniform. Consistent excellence in the performance of his duty, I can vie for that. Consistent dedication to his official responsibilities over a period of a number of years, and continuous growth in responsibilities and skills within his profession. He had to obtain several things prior to doing this: nomination letters, resume, in order to be considered. He's a fantastic candidate. I wish I could select 47 other people from our department, but I'm really, really happy that he's been chosen, because he is from our department and he represents our department in our town for the State VFW Award. And he has an opportunity now, and I think he has a really good shot at it at the national level. Next to me is his father, Warren Smith, who's a member of the Post. I also have the commander of the Post, he's here in attendance, and the vice commander. Several members of the Post have also come, his family, his children, his mother. Warren has some of the awards that they've already presented him. And if you have any questions in regards to the process and everything else that's happened in the last several months, he'd be the perfect person to ask.
Yeah, question came up, why did it go through the Halifax Post where Marshfield has a post? They didn't select anybody to submit. It's that simple. They still can. What the VFW does with the public safety awards is firefighter, EMT, police officer, teacher. And if you've got someone within the town that you think would be worthy of submitting, get a hold of the folks over at the Post here. Start with them. This was kind of a surprise to them at our district meeting, because it went through us versus Marshfield. But we wanted to get it put in, and got it done. We did all the steps, submitted it. Right off the bat, he was awarded for the district, which is everything from Marshfield, Pembroke, all the way through the Cape and the Islands. So he was selected from that whole gang, and then was submitted from the district to the state. And we thought that he didn't get it. And all of a sudden, one of our district meetings, the state commander sent down all the bling. And so he got it for the state. And sometime April, May, when they have their next board at the national level, right before the convention, then they'll make a selection. That's where it goes from there.
Awesome. Thank you both for breaking that down for us. It's really impressive, and just another way that Marshfield stands out in a really positive way. And Captain, I'm sure we couldn't find more supporters to come out for you better in the future. And it says a lot that all these folks came out in the storm.
Yeah. I expect it at this point. I expect it. I can't say enough about them, so.
It's the bonded brotherhood, right?
And sisterhood.
Yes. We lose the alliteration, but very, very true.
Yes.
Important to point out.
Exactly.
So, yeah, it says a lot about Captain Smith and
Yeah.
all you guys, too, that you're all here to support him, so that's great. Any questions or comments, Jim?
Just very quick, Mr. Chairman, yes, Captain Smith, this is a very competitive award, recognition for your accomplishments at the state level. It's phenomenal. You should be very proud of what you've been able to accomplish.
Thank you.
So for you to be here for your son, that's really something else. And
Yeah, it's fun.
yeah, so I mean, I'd love for you to share, one really crazy moment, but I'm not going to ask you that, because I'm sure there are lots of them. But I really do want to extend our whole time. I mean, on behalf of everybody, great job. Good job, Dad.
Oh, and by the way, My EMT instructor, 1990 social hospital. This gentleman right here.
That's awesome.
So, yeah,
Thank
it's
you.
interesting how things kind of circle around, but, thank you.
Thank you guys for coming in.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
you may want to we'll take a little phrase
Yeah.
like that and then
Wanna go in
have
with all
everyone
the
come up and
guys?
do a group
Why don't we go
photo.
that
Yeah.
way?
Yeah.
Sounds great. So make a motion for a brief recess.
Absolutely. Second.
Perfect.
Hi.
Thanks. All right.
Go towards them. What do you mean?
Yeah. Budget presentation for the advisory board.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just so folks know, according to the charter, Article 5-2, on or before the last Monday in January, the Board of Selectmen turns over the fiscal budget to the advisory board so that they can begin their meeting. I'm going to just quickly go through it. We did go through it already, but there are some advisory board members, so I'll just quickly go through it.
I think the rest of them are on Zoom, I hope.
The one, yes. Okay, budgetary achievements overall. We've accomplished a great deal with this budget. We will continue to combat COVID-19. FY24 budget will provide $1,624,629 in new revenue for the school department, which is a 3% increase overall. General government is increased by 2.04%, and we have maintained our workforce while repositioning resources to achieve that goal. We continue to fund a full-time assistant planner and assistant conservation agent. We have accounted for COLAs and contracts in all divisions without using free cash. We continue our cost-share agreement with the Schools for Human Resource Division. We have recommended an increase to public safety of $436,809 over FY23 to continue to provide the best resources for our police department, fire department, and ambulance. We continue to fund CTG ball field accounts by approximately $100,000. We have not reduced any senior or veteran services. We continue to keep all municipal full-time and part-time positions funded at this time, all while managing increases in pension costs, healthcare costs, utility costs, gas, and diesel fuel. Next slide, please. Revenue explanation. Revenues are again being recommended at a 2.54% increase overall. Select Board previously adopted a budget policy on 6/1/20. No revenue should exceed 3%. The revenue recommendation before you accomplishes that directive. Our other revenues were decreased by 0.01% or $692.09 for our local receipts due to the volatility of our economy. Our steady aid figures remain close to a 3% overall increase. Debt exclusion for Furnace Brook Middle School and Marshfield High School decreased by $149,661 or 2.49%. Total revenue projection for the FY24 budget is $109,022,243. This pie chart, shows a breakdown of use of reserve bond premium, wetland protection, cemetery, solar panels, etc. Expense explanation. The town's department heads have put in their request only for what is truly needed to keep providing services to our town during these challenging times, while dealing with COVID-19, rising inflation, utility costs, fuel costs, pension costs, and healthcare costs. The centralized budget process we now have allows the town administrator and the select board to have the flexibility to reposition resources based on the needs presented during budget hearings. The town has overcome last year's challenges with the hiring of a new town accountant and a new treasurer, and through it all, there has been a wonderful collaboration between department heads and staff. The finance team have met with all departments and reviewed the financial requests needed to achieve the goals. We have again not had to implement any layoffs or furloughs, as many of our neighbors have, thanks in large part to the support and recommendations of the Select Board. Following chart and department reviews will provide additional information. Total expense projected $109,022,243. Next slide is another pie chart which illustrates by color various things down below: snow and ice, overlay, unemployment, pension, etc. Page 7, fixed cost summary. Finance Department once again was able to time the debt service structure to offset any increases, which saved the budget $423,550 this fiscal year. This prevented layoffs and maintained a total fixed cost increase of 1.06% over last year's increase. It is always our objective to keep fixed cost level funded. Total fixed cost projected increase over FY23 is $319,565 or 1.06%. And you see down below everything listed. Debt management. Capital funds appropriated by borrowing or any other financing source may not be used for operational expenditures in any capacity. Town makes certain these funds are kept separate and only used for the projects for which it was appropriated by town meeting. The finance team, with guidance from the board, has a policy that does not allow inside debt costs to exceed 5% of our operating budget in total. nor excluded debt to exceed 10% of our operating budget in total. We have achieved both of these goals. In total, debt service has been reduced by $423,550, all while bonding our capital projects. Debt exclusion passed on 11/19 of 20 for the police station, DPW facility, senior center addition, and seawalls. Our debt management, general obligation, and market knowledge have assisted in saving jobs this past year. Because of our conservative plan of debt management and uniform annual payments, we have minimized our tax impact and will see the benefit of our conservative plan now and in the future. You see inside debt went down by $273,889. Outside debt went down by $149,661. Just for people that are listening, in case they want to know, outside debt are those debt exclusions. So when we do a debt exclusion, that is outside debt. Inside debt is what we borrow to do capital improvements, things like that. There's another chart. Our debt for 2023, $8,972,009. You'll see that it continues to come down all the way to 2039. Total inside debt, $3,103,712. Total excluded debt, $5,868,297. FY24 general government, total general government number is $3,116,577, an increase of $62,417 from fiscal 23. General government continues to fund the full-time assistant planner, keeping an administrative clerk's position vacant temporarily as we manage costs through the pandemic, has cut discretionary spending and IT costs due to the purchase of Munis, has built a 2% projected contract increase to the salary line by union and bylaw employees. The town began converting the financials to Munis on December 1, 2022. The conversion is running smoothly, and we anticipate that it will continue to do so. Modules will be converted on a step basis, with a full conversion accomplished by the end of calendar year 2024. Total $3,116,577, or a 2.04% increase for general government. Public safety increase $436,809, or 3.25%. And police and fire returned approximately $125,000 from their FY22 budget by exceptional management of overtime and resources. ARPA funds have been allocated to purchase 2 ambulances and a fire truck, and the fire department utilized a grant to purchase an off-road fire truck. FY 2024 education. The school department will receive a 3% on its operational budget over FY 23 for a total projected budget of $55,778,939. They have continued to do a fantastic job of combating COVID-19 virus or educating our students. We have received millions of dollars in support for the schools from the CARES Act funding. The school and town have worked to improve Wi-Fi expansion. Capital budget funding and free cash have continued to assist the schools in maintenance, security, and COVID-related issues. FY 2024 Public Works. Town continues to support our Public Works Department to provide the best possible services. Public Works Division will see a 0.103% increase overall for potential contractual increases due to town vehicles being serviced by outside vendors during construction and moved to a new building at 965 Plain Street. We have worked with the Superintendent of Public Works to reposition resources to provide additional funding for maintenance of the fleet. We continue to support and maintain the ball field and park accounts, keeping our fields and play spaces in the best possible shape. Public Works also receives support from their capital needs through the capital budget process for general fund and through retained earnings for wastewater, water, and solid waste. Solid waste curbside funding has been level funded. Total commitment to general fund Public Works, $3,109,744. Health and Human Services for FY24. Town has continued to fund full-time assistant veteran service agent, provide additional council on aging funding for goods and services, allowing our senior population to be active in education and social activities. Create a revolving fund for the Seaflower Cafe at the senior center, increase funding for the Board of Health agent, and continue to fund 2 part-time nurses to keep the town healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Total health and human service budget increased by $155,251, or 11.47%. Cultural services, the library has taken on the task of keeping services open to allow the public to have access to library resources during the pandemic, including a book drop-off and pickup program, public Wi-Fi, and many cultural programs for students and the general public. The library rug is being replaced during the winter of FY23. The town continues to support our library and fund other cultural services, including Clam Flats, Veterans Memorial, and Historic Commission efforts. These cultural services benefit us all. Total commitment to our library and cultural services, $909,112, an increase of $53,438, or 6.25%. Utilities. Town of Marshfield is committed to going green with a very aggressive investment in photovoltaic, battery storage, charging stations, electric vehicles, LED lighting, and building enhancements. Town will be receiving additional energy credits with the most recent power purchase agreement, as well as replacing a solar array field on our cap landfill, photovoltaics on municipal buildings and carports and parking lots, including school, police, council on aging, and DPW. We will be adding electric charging stations at the police station, the council on aging, DPW facilities to eliminate a single point failure, and battery storage to hold the photovoltaics. Town is moving forward with aggregate electric with approval from the Mass Department of Public Utilities. We have invested in LED lighting for school buildings, the fire station, boiler replacement at Central Fire, and Furnace Brook Middle School with Green Community Grant funding. The utility budget covers all town building costs for heat, electricity, communication. The current funding level is $488,561, a 3.84% increase, with the expectation it will be decreased by energy credit offsets. On the next page, you will see a breakdown of the revenues, and how the budget is put together. If you look at the FY24 budget very quickly, base tax levy is $72,434,349. You add the standard 2.5% increase, that's $1,810,859. You had $500,000 in new growth, which gave you a levy limit, $74,745,208. You add to that Furnace Brook Middle School, Marshfield High School debt exclusion in town, $5,868,297. Maximal total allowable levy, $80,613,505. You had state aid. We're projecting state aid at about $18,202,000. You take off the offsets, $50,000, brings you down to $18,152,044. Then you have your local receipts; they're all there. That gets you to $109,022,243. Expenses. If you look at FY24, you'll see the general government, public safety, public works, etc. School department, non-debt service, pensions, $7.9 million. Employee health and life insurance, $8.1 million. Those are real big ones. County assessments, $1,387,777. For total expenses, $109,022,243. In essence, because the expenses and the revenues equal, we have a balanced budget. Tax rate went down to $11.32 per thousand. Schools will receive a 3% increase of the FY24 budget, supported at town meeting. School resource officers will continue to be funded by our grant. School resource officers at Marshfield High School, Furnace Brook Middle School, and the elementary schools, and with community impact fees. General government budget has increased by 2.04%. The town hall elevator is creating better access for our citizens who struggle with mobility. We continue to fund 2 part-time nurses for the Board of Health. We continue to fund a full-time assistant planner and assistant conservation agent to manage the very large caseload demands of those departments. We have funded COLAs and contracts without free cash. We continue to cost share with schools for human resources. We have increased public safety funding by $436,809 for fire and police. We continue funding cemetery trees and greens to manage our fields. No layoffs or furloughs in fiscal 21, 22, 23, or 24. FY24 budget will fund Robert Egan to serve as the town's weights and measures consultant. The new DPW building capital project is underway. The new police station was substantially completed April of 2022, and our seawalls have been completed with another new section completed in Brant Rock. I'm happy to report that to date, we've saved the taxpayers $13.7 million due to favorable interest rates and the use of $1.2 million in bond premium funds for those projects. We continue to look for ways to reduce costs on those projects as we move forward. DPW is investing in repairs and upgrades in our water and sewer infrastructure with $4 million in ARPA funding. The dog park has received approval from the Stanton Foundation for $250,000, and funding the dog park construction begins in December of 2022, with the anticipated completion in early summer of 2023. We continue to support our COVID drive-through clinic at the fairground with reimbursement from our insurance carriers, MEMA and FEMA if needed. To date, we've given out over 94,355 vaccines with a variety of COVID-19, 93,549 vaccines, and at the time this was done, flu vaccines, 806. Modernization of Town Hall is underway with reappropriation of senior center capital funds for 6 new bathrooms, a new chamber, and repositioning of some departments. These improvements were funded with no additional cost to the taxpayers. Finally, we continue to make up ground on the maintenance of our public buildings, thanks to the great work of our facilities department and the support by town meeting for funding from free cash. So thank you. That is my budget presentation. And we have books available for the advisory board. And if the advisory board has any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Keith, yep.
Hi, thank you. Mike?
Yes, sir.
Are we hiring anybody new for any department aside from the schools?
No,
Okay, thank you.
we just don't have the money, so, okay.
I'm just asking if it's in there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, thank you, guys. All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2024 budget as presented by our town administrator. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the FY24 budget as presented.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys coming in as
Yeah,
well.
thanks, guys. It's a snowy night.
That was excellent, Michael.
Thank you, everyone. And I was reluctant to the advisory board to say, we had a great collaboration with our town accountant and our town treasurer. So, and we're looking forward to being at all your meetings and answering your questions.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Mr. Administrator, I must tell you.
Yes, sir.
Hearing those full 20 pages for the second time, they were even more riveting.
You are too kind. Oh, Griffin.
All righty, here we go.
I even got Steve.
Well done. All right, we're gonna move on to action item number 2, which is a discussion and vote to waive the percolation testing and permit fees. Just again, we don't, charge ourselves, the town, for a fee. Anything else you'd like to add, Michael?
So this is 1929 Main Street, just very quickly. I know the board knows, but if anyone's listening, this was part of a land purchase that we did last year. Part of the land purchase, there was a house and potential for another house. So it was passed with creating 1 or 2 additional units of housing. So in order to be able to do that, the housing partnership has some funds that they're able to do that. The first step is to have it perked. This is a very tough area. The soils, I did have a conversation with Gary Russell. He's a soil analysis expert. So we need to go out there, and this is the first step to see if we're able to build anything. If it will perk, if it perks, what's the rate? That then dictates how many bathrooms you can have, how many rooms, that kind of thing.
Awesome, it's very helpful. Thank you, Michael. Any questions or comments, Jim?
I do not, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
Nope.
All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to waive the percolation testing permit fees relative to D18-02-05 and D18-02-17 at 1929 Main Street. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the waiver of the percolation testing fees.
Awesome. All right, I'll go ahead and take action item number 8 out of order, which is a discussion and vote on the beach sticker prices. And Michael or Cindy, I know you can kind of contextualize. It's a function of, salary and expenses and things of that nature. So if you wanted to break that down.
Sure. Yeah, Cindy actually put together a great report, so I want to thank Cindy. So just so you have the background, Beach's money brought in for, in '22. Beach stickers took in $235,680, and that means that we sold 4,497 stickers. Beach parking, those are people that show up that don't have a sticker, that revenue was $135,603. The snack bar, which has great food, so people should plan to get there early, $57,564.75, for a grand total of $428,847.75. Now you have to take out the expenses, so salaries, $390,928. Services, $16,330. Supplies, $19,002, for a total of $426,260. And then salaries for the supervisors, lifeguard, parking attendants, beach sticker seals, and snack bar employees, including a minimum wage increase, of 75 cents. So every person will get an increase, 75 cents, to meet the new minimum wage of $15. We also have to pay for 8 porta potties with extra cleanings each week, because no one's going to use a dirty porta potty. I do have to give special recognition to Cindy and her staff. They do clean and maintain the Brant Rock Comfort Station, the Wrexham bathroom, snack bar, and supplies. And there are many times I go by and see Cindy in the little blue house in Brant Rock. I don't always drive down to Wrexham, but I do see her there, and I know her and her staff keep it very clean. Uniforms for our staff, a new 10-by-20 shed, which holds all of the freezers needed for operation of the snack bar. Their previous space was no longer available. Rescue equipment, including surfboards, AEDs, and medical supplies, and repairs to the lifeguard stand and stairs and railings. Miscellaneous supplies, including dog waste pickup bags, signs, paint, locks, chains, trash bags, snow fence, picnic tables, etc. Costs for all supplies have doubled over the last couple of years. So when you look at those numbers, there's very little room for error. So you have 420, it's less than $2,000. So we did not raise the fees last year, they were raised the year before. And you'll see that in the report, Cindy also put together what other places are charging. I know it's in here, because I saw it. So, just before we get to that, while I'm getting the beach price sticker, 1987, it was $3. Went to 5, 10, 15, 20 in 1992, 30 in 2005, 2015, 35, 2019, 40, 2021, $45. Duxbury presently charges $120, Falmouth charges $40, Barnstable charges $95, National Seashore on the Cape charges $60, Marblehead charges $80, and the town of Dennis charges $50. So gives you a little perspective about places that have beach parking. Now, some of these, none of our parking is directly on the beach, so people have to walk. I can tell you on the National Seashore, when you get down there, the parking, you can actually see the ocean from where you park. Same thing with Barnstable, Falmouth. Duxbury, I've never, other than driving over the Powder Point Bridge, I drive over, I've been there in the off-season. And the town of Dennis has a number of beaches and parking right on, like at Nantasket. So you go to a Dennis beach, Refrigerated Beach, and I forget some of the others, you can actually park right there. So the cost, we have to maintain staff. We need lifeguards to save people. We need people to handle the parking, the cleanup, to do the paint, the repairs. We have to buy equipment, buy the food, staff the kitchen. That's how we do it. We do it through the stickers, and, we have a lot of people. I can tell you, and thank you to those 4,000 plus people that buy them. I myself, I think I went to the beach twice. But you buy that because you want to make sure our beaches are safe. You want to make sure our beaches are clean. And Cindy and the Beach Commission do a great job of doing that. So it's justified in the $5 increase.
Thank you, Michael. Is there anything you wanted to add, Cindy?
No, I think Michael covered it all.
All right, awesome. Well done. And I apologize for not taking this out of order sooner and making you wait, Cindy.
Not a problem.
Hey, Eric.
How you doing?
Good. How you
Mr.
doing?
Darcy, Eric Murphy, Ocean Street.
I just wanted to say, I got here at 7:15, the front door's been locked for 20 minutes. I don't know if anybody else just couldn't get in or not, it's still locked. If we have anybody that has keys, could let them in, there's people standing around outside.
Yes, we got a good candidate to fix that. Thanks for letting us
I
know.
got here a little late, I had to go work in Manomet, so the traffic and the snow was brutal getting here. I don't see anything to say about Cindy's ticket.
Okay.
Although I do have to say, I would personally, living in Marshfield, I would pay an extra $50 if I could drive through Rexham Beach to Hummerock.
Yeah.
So think about that. Put a trail in or something. It would save me $50 in gas probably going down to Hummerock.
You need
good
to
point.
hoof it,
Exactly.
like in the olden days.
Yeah, right. It'd be great. Horse and saddle.
Sorry.
No, I like it.
Okay.
It's perfect.
All right.
You have any questions or comments, Jim?
Only comment is I want to commend Cindy. She does an excellent job. I know she has a large crew. We were talking about the other day, and she only has them for a short period of time. They're high school, college, so she's always constantly recruiting, looking for new members. So she's always out there. So if anyone there wants to join Cindy's team, please reach out to her. She can always use it because she always has turnover, not because they're working for Cindy. And I think from the increased perspective, from both a dollar and a percentage perspective, given today's environments, it's very realistic.
Thank you, Jim. Any questions or comments, Elaine?
No, I appreciate all you do, and the playground at Rexham's fun, and it's just a nice environment for everybody, so good job.
Thank you.
Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, go ahead and make a motion to approve the request of the, it says of the beaches, of Cindy to increase the beach sticker fee to $50 for April 14th, 2023, and $55 starting on April 15th, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy.
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne. Ms. Fiddler.
Aye.
Unanimous request to approve the request of our beach department to increase the beach parking sticker.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Another great season.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
It's hard to think of beaches right now with the storm, but
Well, with the snow out there.
yeah. All right, so let's see. Next up, we'll go to number 3. It's a request from the Boys and Girls Club to use the parking lots during the Levitate Festival on July 7th, 8th, and 9th. Anything else that you think we should add, Michael?
Mr. Chairman, just for full disclosure, I want to disclose that I am a Board of Directors member. I serve on the Executive Governance Committee. I don't derive any financial interest from the club or from the parking for the fair. So saying that, no, so this is something that they have to do. They do this, actually, they are the group that manages parking. It takes, I think we had like 400 people last year parking each day, so about 1,200 people. A lot of those were return people, and they need to get permission to use these lots. This is all taken care of by the proponent of the project. He pays the staff people to be there. They have to just secure the parking. I think last year we had like 16,000 people thereabouts on each day come. And last year they started a new system for parking, and that is that they use the high school and the Furnace Brook Middle School. Dan Hassett wanted to be able to take some of the traffic off the street, catch everyone as they come in. So they set up a secured site, a security site. You're warned and everything. You get on the bus does not stop, pulls right in a security checkpoint inside the park, and same thing going back. You get right on the bus, drives out of the park, all the way back up there. And they ran those buses all day, and I think both the Furnace Brook Middle School and the high school parking lots were chock-a-block full. All these other lots get used because a lot of people don't like to stop there. We get the signs up. DPW is great about getting the orange signs up. People drive down here, so between the use of these lots and the use of all the residents, remember, if residents' taxes are paid, they can apply and park cars on their property for the concerts, and the same also for the fair and any other events that are done at the fair. Any damage done to any lots, so for instance, Grace Ride is on here, we do not park cars on the center soccer field. Only the field that's where the baseball diamonds are on the right, not on any of the road in front of the Grace Rider, and then on the far left of the property, they park cars. South River, they park in the back, and on the roadway with the school and the administration building, but not on the septic system. That's roped off. There is no property at that lot that's to the right of the central fire station, so you can park anyone in there. Just trying to think. I think we've covered it all.
Thank you, Michael. Any questions or comments, Jim?
Just quickly, that, so the public knows that the lots are staffed by adults, volunteers. They're gonna be, the cars will be parked appropriately. Any trash that will perhaps occur will be picked up in containers, so we won't have costs to the town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
No, it's helpful to the Boys and Girls Club, and I'm all for it.
Great, thank you. All right, go ahead and make a motion to approve the request of the Boys and Girls Club of Marshfield to use the following town parking lots: Grace Rider, South River School, Seth Fentress Hall Building, and the lot adjacent to the Central Fire Station to park cars for the 2023 Levitate Music Festival on July 7th, 8th, and 9th. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been duly made and seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the request of the Boys and Girls Club for parking for Levitate for 2023.
All right, excellent. All right, number 4 is a discussion and vote on the appointment of Karen Horn as the Marshfield Housing Coordinator. So Michael, I know it's been vacant for, about 2 years. We've been looking to fill it.
We've had so we have, we advertised, so just so folks know, we advertised on 3/17 of 22, 5/9 of 22, and 9/12 of 22. Weren't able to get anyone, we weren't able to join up with anyone, so we finally asked if there anyone that has qualifications to do that. Karen Horn came forward. People know Karen most recently. Karen is our assistant planner, but Karen served, she was elected for 9 years on the planning board as an elected member, so she's very familiar with the creation of affordable housing. She knows zoning, she can create maps, she has all the necessary prerequisites to do this. So the question is, well, how does she do that when we're paying her for a full-time job? So what she would do, and this was all, there's actually a memo in here from Bob Galvin that laid out, what has to be done. She would do the housing partnership work at night, on the weekends. She'll have a separate timesheet for that, and she would be paid separately for that. And she has to file an ethics disclosure that Bob will send her. She'll file that with us before she starts, and the board will approve that, and we'll go from there. And it's needed because we have to right away dive right into a number of affordable housing issues, the creation of some affordable housing, our reporting, our big reporting, our 5-year reporting's coming up on the affordable housing. The numbers will change a little because they'll go down. Our affordability will go down because as the population goes up with the new census figures, she'll have that to work with, and she'll work with the departments. She'll be at the meeting. The Housing Partnership was very happy. It's a unanimous vote to approve and recommend. Lynn was at the, Ms. Fiddler was at the meeting, the partnership meeting when that took place.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. Any questions or comments, Jim?
I just want to thank Karen Horn for her willingness to serve. It's actually quite an important position. I think this team in general can use, although she's slightly different, can use some help and assistance that she'll bring great expertise in.
Definitely. Thank you, Jim. Any questions or comments, Lynn?
I just want to quickly voice my support for Karen. She's such a great resource for the town, and her demeanor's excellent. She's just, I can't say enough good things about her. She did send an email out and her goals, and just so I can just put it on the record, advance the town's housing goals and policies, and housing partnership with implementation of the Marshfield Housing Production Plan goals, which Michael talked about, and contribute to the long-range planning initiatives to support affordable housing in Marshfield, and you know how important that is. So working collaboratively with the public, community partners, and other town departments on plans, programs, and priorities to address present and future housing needs. So she is really set up to do a great job. And finally, I'd just like to mention that Martine Anderson has resigned, and she has been part of that housing partnership, so we thank her for her service, and we welcome this new group of housing partnership folks to lead the way and get things moving. So that's it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well said. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you.
All right, go ahead and make a motion to approve the appointment of Karen Horn as the Marshfield Housing Coordinator. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to appoint Karen Horn as the Marshfield Housing Coordinator.
All right, next up, we have number 5, which is a discussion and vote on request for permission for the Marshfield Tennis Club to affix the town seal for an award received by the United States Tennis Association, and they want to mount the award at Peter Igo Park, which is obviously very impressive, and congratulations for all the work that they do. Did you want to add anything else, Michael?
There's just a couple of things, so in order to be able to do that, the board is not, so I conferred with town council, board is not in charge of the town seal, so the motion will have pending approval from the town clerk. She would need to approve the use of the town seal on materials, and then it would also be pending getting a temporary sign permit. They're normally for 30 days at a time, so Bob suggested 30 with a renewable 30.
Makes sense. Thanks, Michael. Any questions or comments, Jim?
I do not.
Any questions or comments, Lynn?
Nope, congratulations is in order, and thank you.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for the Marshfield Tennis Club to affix the town seal to an award received from the United States Tennis Association and to hand the award at Peter Argo Park for up to 60 days, pending permission from the town clerk to use the town seal and to apply for and be granted a sign permit from the building department for the sign. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the request of the Marshfield Tennis Club.
All right, next up we have number 6, which is the appointment of a selection search committee for our new acting conservation administrator. So just to contextualize it, what we have on the agenda is the team consisting of Town Administrator Michael Maresco, our Town Council Bob Galvin, Craig Hannafin, who is the current chair of the Conservation Commission, Bert O'Donnell, who's a member of the Conservation Commission, Danielle Kerrigan, of course our head of HR, and Harbor Master Mike DeMeo. Did you want to add anything else, Michael?
The committee, Conservation had requested, Craig had requested that Bert wanted to have another person that was well experienced there on the selection committee. And also, Mike DeMeo's on there because they do a lot of 91 permitting, stuff like that, with Michael's Coast Guard experience and being the harbor master, stuff like that. And, we have some candidates we need to go through. As folks know, Bill Grafton left. This is to replace Bill Grafton. Right now, Mike Seal is the acting, and we'll go through a number of candidates, and hopefully we're able to select and get someone in that place, and then go from there.
Awesome, thank you, Michael. Definitely looks like a good team with a good breadth of experience. Any questions or comments, Jim?
Just quick, I think in addition to the Vice Chair of the Conservation Commission, Brett O'Donnell, makes us a strong selection team.
Yeah, Bert's a great guy, well experienced. Any questions or comments, Lynn?
No, all set.
All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to appoint a Conservation Administrator Selection Committee consisting of the following members: Town Administrator Michael Maresco, Town Council Robert Galvin, Conservation Commission Chair Craig Hannafin, Vice Chair of the Conservation Commission Bert O'Donnell, or Bertram O'Donnell, our Human Resources Director Danielle Kerrigan, and Harbor Master Michael DeMeo. The interview process will begin with interviews on January 25th, 2023, and January 30th, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the Conservation Administrator Selection Committee.
All right, so number 7, the Braintree Public Schools would like to visit Brant Rock Beach for a field trip, and they'll probably see a very nice sign while they're in the Esplanade for Best Solutions. Did you want to add anything else, Michael?
Just that it's great to see a class from Braintree. This class has come a number of times, and sometimes they even share the title pool with there's another school that usually reaches out to the board. I love to see all of these communities on the South Shore want to come to Marshfield beaches, whether it's Wrexham or Brant Rock, to see how beautiful everything is. So I think this is great.
Awesome, well said. Thank you, Michael. Any questions or comments, Jim?
I think they're future property owners in Marshfield.
Yeah, exactly. Any questions or comments, Lynn?
Nope, welcome.
All right, perfect. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the request of the 4th grade class from the Liberty Elementary School in Braintree for Brant Rock Beach for tide pooling in Wednesday, June 7th, 2023, with a rain date of Thursday, June 8th, arriving at 9:45 a.m. and leaving by 1 p.m. with access to the public restrooms. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion's been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to approve the request of the fourth grade class from Liberty Elementary School in Braintree to visit Brant Rock Beach.
All right, number 10 is the meeting minutes from our January 9th meeting. I can't vote on it, but I could make the motion and all that good stuff. So do you have any questions or comments, Jim?
I do not.
All right, any questions or comments, Lynn?
Do not.
All right, so I will make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from January 9th, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Present?
Present. Yep. Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
And Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Approval of minutes by a 2 to, one person is present and 2 in the affirmative means the minutes are adopted.
Thank you. All right, and seeing no further business, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion been made and duly seconded. Roll call is in order. Mr. Darcy?
Aye.
Mr. Kilcoyne?
Aye.
Ms. Fiddler?
Aye.
Unanimous vote to adjourn.